This is going to be a little bit different of a video from my usual Ahsoka the Husky shorts, but I felt it was important to make. So recently I made a video short warning people that grapes are dangerous for dogs, and just an experience that I had. And somebody commented saying they fed their dog grapes for years and their dog was completely fine, therefore grapes must not be dangerous. But that logic makes absolutely no sense. That's like me playing Russian roulette and saying, I played Russian roulette, I survived, therefore Russian roulette can't be dangerous. Just because something bad didn't happen doesn't mean the risk isn't real. The scary thing with grapes is that some dogs can eat them and seem perfectly fine, while other dogs can eat only a few or even one and have kidney failure. And the unfortunate thing is that the dog won't show symptoms until that has already entered their kidneys and already started doing the damage. And that's exactly why this stuff matters. So if this video helps even one dog owner educate them on something that they didn't know was dangerous for their dogs and maybe store it more safely in the house, then hey, mission complete in my opinion. So the first one that we're going to discuss is the one everybody knows, is of course chocolate. Most dog owners know chocolate is bad, but a lot of people don't realize how dangerous it actually can be. Chocolate contains theobromine and caffeine, which dogs process much slower than humans. Dark chocolate and baking chocolate are the worst offenders because they're so much more concentrated. Symptoms can include vomiting, diarrhea, rapid heart rate, shaking, seizures, and in severe cases, even death. And body weight matters a lot here. So, a big dog eats a tiny bit. It may not be that bad, but a smaller dog eats that same amount and it could be devastating. Now, I will say milk chocolate is far less dangerous, but still not good for your dog at all. So moving on to the next one, which was the one that inspired me to make this video, which is grapes and raisins, which I was somewhat ignorant to. I knew grapes weren't great for dogs, but I didn't know how dangerous they were, and Ahsoka almost got one when I dropped one on the floor, and luckily I stopped her from getting it. But after that, it kind of inspired me to look into how bad are grapes actually, and I was pretty surprised to learn that I didn't know this beforehand, growing up with dogs my whole life. So this one surprises a lot of people, but because it seems so harmless, but grapes and raisins can cause sudden kidney failure in dogs, and vets still don't fully understand why some dogs react so severely and some dogs don't. What makes this one especially scary is that there's no guaranteed safe amount. Some dogs get very sick from only one or a few grapes or a tiny box of raisins. Symptoms can include vomiting, lethargy, loss of appetite, dehydration, and eventually kidney shutdown. And raisins are even more dangerous because they're concentrated. So if your dog eats grapes or raisins, don't wait to see if the symptoms show up. You should bring your dog to the vet immediately and get their help from there. So the next one is xylitol. Is a sugar substitute found in sugar-free gum, candy, toothpaste, protein bars, and even some peanut butter brands. Which that one obviously is concerning because a lot of us, give peanut butter as a treat to our dogs. So if you're not aware that the peanut butter brand that you bought contains this, that can lead to a pretty scary situation. For humans it's harmless, but for dogs it can be deadly. When dogs eat xylitol, their bodies release a massive amount of insulin, which can cause their blood sugar to crash within minutes. That can lead to weakness, collapse, seizures, liver failure, and unfortunately, sometimes death. And here's the scary part about it. Sometimes just one piece of gum is enough to poison a small dog. So always check labels, especially on peanut butter, before giving them to your dog. I'll be honest, I didn't know that some brands of peanut butter had xylitol in it. I never buy the sugar-free stuff, but I wasn't aware of that. So there's me learning from this. The next one is onions and garlic. So these are toxic whether they're raw, cooked, powdered, or dehydrated, and garlic is actually more concentrated and dangerous than onions. These foods damage a dog's red blood cells and can cause a dangerous condition called hemolytic anemia. If I pronounced that wrong, my bad. Symptoms might not appear right away. You could see weakness, pale gums, rapid breathing, lethargy, or collapse several days later. And a lot of people accidentally feed this stuff without realizing it because onion and garlic powder are in so many foods: soups, sauces, chips, leftovers, seasoning, mixes, basically everything. The big one that I would get from this is hamburger. Who doesn't put onion powder or garlic powder on their steaks, their hamburgers, their beef products? So that's a really important one to keep in mind, that if you have a little bit left over of a hamburger and you want to give it to your dog, you know, unless you're sure that there's no onion or garlic powder on it, then, maybe you shouldn't. The other thing I would mention to that is that small amounts over time can also build up and become dangerous. So just because you give a small amount one day and it doesn't really do much to your dog, if a couple days later you give a little bit more and a little bit more, it can compound and build up in the system and then become, dangerous at that point. Another major danger is alcohol and raw bread dough. Dogs are extremely sensitive to alcohol compared to humans. Even small amounts can slow their breathing, affect their nervous system, and potentially cause coma or death. Now, raw bread dough is dangerous because the yeast keeps fermenting inside the dog's stomach. That means the dough expands and produces alcohol at the same time. The stomach can bloat dangerously while the dog is also getting alcohol poisoning. Caffeine. I think this one would be pretty obvious. You shouldn't be giving your dog caffeine, as it is a narcotic. Coffee, energy drinks, tea, caffeine pills, and especially coffee grounds can all be extremely dangerous for dogs. Caffeine overstimulates the nervous system and the heart. Symptoms can include hyperactivity, restlessness, tremors, rapid heart rate, seizures, and collapse. Coffee grounds are especially dangerous because they contain concentrated caffeine. And once again, small dogs are much higher risk because it takes much less to reach a toxic dose. So that's the list that I have. If any of these are things that you weren't aware of, let me know in the comments. Researching this myself, I learned a couple things. So the biggest thing to remember is, if your dog eats something potentially toxic, don't wait for symptoms before calling a vet. Acting quickly can actually make all the difference. Unfortunately, once the system starts trying to digest some of these things, it can enter their bloodstream, their kidneys, their liver, and that's where the damage starts to happen. So even if your dog does recover, they may have permanent kidney damage, permanent liver damage. We all know how finite a dog's life can be. Please feel free to share this to any of your friends that are dog owners or looking to be dog owners. Unfortunately, we live in a world where most of this stuff isn't really common knowledge, and if somebody has grown up with dogs, they may know most of these or some of these. But if somebody hasn't grown up around pets or anything and they decide to go and get a dog themselves, they may not be aware of some of these things. And I think it's really good that us as dog owners help try to educate our friends who are looking to become dog owners or are currently dog owners. And that's not to be a Karen or preach to people, but sharing a little bit of knowledge that you have, you could help save a life. I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope all your puppies stay safe. Thanks.